welcome back. And it's always a pleasure to be back here on the channel. A few more uploads for you, as I know many of you have been asking for some new uploads. So I'm back. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Danielle, better known as Danielle Happy Medium. And in today's video tutorial, a little bit of a topic I don't see much talked about, which is emotional intelligence. And we've been doing a little bit here on the channel recently in regards to intelligence in the spirit world and their uses of that. And I thought I wanted to really talk about this particular said topic because it's a one that, like I say, isn't really talked about much when we're doing our communications, and how it really does work very well when we're doing connections to the spirit world or loved ones who may be coming through. And many of you might think, well, what is emotional intelligence? So I'm first going to break that down for the medium. So for the instrument, is the spirit world call us. And emotional intelligence is having an understanding, so an empathy, a compassion, intelligence, or an understanding of your emotions and how they may be quite volatile, or how they may interact with other people, or how they may sort of send you off on a bit of a tangent, you know. And it's an intelligence of knowing basically who you are and what makes you tick. And when we sort of transfer that over to the spirit world, all these lovely loved ones in the spirit world are all have some kind of emotional intelligence. Now, we get into spiritual intelligence, the logic and the understanding of the evidence that needs to be brought forward, or what they need to talk about, or where they need to be in the room, or they know their loved ones are in the room, you know, that kind of logical sort of intelligence. This gets into sort of the nitty-gritty of the essence of the spirit world, the personality and the emotions that sit around and about that particular loved one. In lots of loved ones, and I know through personal experience of sittings and communications I've done on a platform, or, you know, floor demonstrations, there has many loved ones who've come forward who've made me feel very, very emotional. And a lot of you can probably relate to this. Now, this has a lot to do with, one, the way in which they're working with my mind, but also because I have a depth of intelligence of my own emotions. I understand them. And some mediums will work quite strongly this way, others will not. The actual Clair for this is Clair empathy, and that's an intelligence of understanding of your emotions and the spirit world, knowing that that is available within this instrument. And what it does is allows you to find a depth within the communication that the communicator and you can sort of relay or understand. And it's very important is the medium to get to understand your emotional intelligence. Now, this can not just be in your communications, but also how you work within the particular said movement, how you react, the way you react, if it's the right thing to do. Now, we are all as individuals and humans and instruments, you know, entitled to get upset or get mad, or, you know, have yourself a little bit of a I suppose from time to time, you know, get yourself a little bit worked up. That's okay. When what happens is when it becomes a problem is when you're projecting that at other people, when it isn't that other person's fault. If that other person has done something to obviously upset you, then that's okay, and you're well within your rights to have to feel that, to understand that, but maybe not to express that. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, as they so say. And this really sort of goes alongside the emotions of the communicator. And what can happen is as we're doing demonstrations or sittings or whatever, we will become highly emotional, or we will feel that emotional intelligence or that love that's coming from that said communicator. Now, that can make you as the medium want to cry. Now, this is going back to just what I said before. You can't really start crying in front of a particular loved one or a particular person sitting in front of you, you know, because it's unprofessional. It's not right. So therefore, we have to find a balance within us is the emotional intelligence, and how much emotional intelligence is coming through from the communicator. Now, another element I want to give you here when we're doing these types of communications, lots and lots, sometimes we have quite emotional communicators, not so much pushing on you and making you want to cry, but will do their communications very much this way, because it's the only way they know how to express themselves. They're not very logical, because Every communication is different. I talk about that all the time here on the channel. I'm yet to meet 2 communicators who are the same. Most of them are quite logical because we all have that logical side to us, but some have very little logic and an awful lot of emotion. So a lot of it's done on feeling, a lot of it will be done on an awareness of tears and, you know, just understanding the depth of that communication and trying to understand that if you don't really understand your emotions or understand your emotional intelligence, you may struggle to work with this emotional intelligence that's which is available to you from the communicator. It's one that I don't see talked about this very much in the movement, and one that I think needs exploring more, especially as we're talking more and more about the essence of the communicator, or we talk more and more about the personality. Now, personalities, of course, are very sort of, you know, happy-go-lucky, fun, but we also have some communicators who struggled massively with the depth of their understanding of their mind, and a lot of that was in an emotional based place. So for example, mental health would certainly sit within this bracket. Unfortunately, mental health is not a logical thing, it is an emotional thing. It's something of the emotions, it sits within them emotional characteristics, and therefore sometimes when we do said communicators, they won't be able to give you it logically, but they'll be able to give you that emotional depth. So for me, I really wanted to talk about this a little bit more within the video for the channel, because I really like to see a lot more of the use of emotional intelligence, the use of using this Clair empathy. Now, like I say, not everybody's going to want to work this way, and that's okay, but for them who are working this way, I hope this video really does give you an understanding that you can do this and it can be possible, and we can use that really, really well when we're doing our communications or when we are working for the spirit world, when there's nothing else available to us. Sometimes what tends to happen as well with lots of mediums is because we're so much looking for the logic or, you know, other sort of particular said clairvoyances and things like this, we sort of miss this intelligence, this emotional intelligence. And actually, to be honest, there's an awful lot of information, evidence that can be brought through by working this emotional intelligence link to the very best of its ability. Also for the medium, or for just the, you know, the person who may be just watching this video, having an understanding of your emotional intelligence, how you are working that through your mediumship and in your day-to-day life, or as the budding medium or the more professional medium, is really important also. So I think this video really sort of tries to cover maybe the basics in this area. But for me personally, emotional intelligence is one I use very, very much, one I really enjoy, I have to be honest. It can be a little overwhelming, but what you have to do and say is to the spirit world, look, I get that, but I don't need you to sort of make me cry, if this makes sense. But for those who do this one, what I will always say to you is it's a beautiful thing, and it shows a great sense of vulnerability is the medium. And sometimes when I'm watching said demonstrations or students or whatever, sometimes there's a missing of this vulnerability, and vulnerability is important because it's an allowance, it's an acceptance of the communication and the spirit world. So maybe getting in touch with your vulnerability, and one that I do, like I say, quite a lot with my communications. Obviously I'm not crying in that, but you know, I do use this quite a lot within my communications. I find it a great sense of healing as well, and also a great sense of love from the spirit world to the said communicator or loved one in front of me. Try it out, see how you get on with it. Like I say, there is some stuff out there, but maybe you may want to have a little bit more of a rummage round if this video sort of sets your imagination alight with this. Let me know in the comment box below. I really like to hear if you're using this in your mediumship. If you are, I may do a couple more videos on this to maybe look at that Clair empathy link and some other Clairs with this connection of emotional intelligence tied to it. Let me know in the comments box. Give this video a like, thumbs up, subscribe, share with friends. The couple of videos have been done in the house because it's not very nice here in the northeast of England, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching. It's always a pleasure. Bye for now.